Hey there, it's Alvin Law here. It is another Friday, which means it's a Human Factor Friday, another in the series of my take on how I see humanity. And I'm here again in my beautiful living room with my sidekick and best buddy Murphy the dog. And today I'm bummed, I gotta be honest with you. I didn't know this person, although by fame I suppose we all knew who this man was. But I got to tell you, I don't have much of a bucket list. I actually hate that expression. But there's a lot of people that I kind of would have loved to have met in my lifetime. And I've had the good fortune to meet quite a few. But one of the ones that we lost last night in France, was Anthony Bourdain. In case you don't know who he is, I like to do this to print and just show a little visual. This is Anthony. As if I know the guy, I never met him, but this is Anthony Bourdain, the star of the television show that was usually on CNN, Parts Unknown. If you don't know what it was about, Anthony Bourdain himself has a very, very sketchy history. He was quite the storyteller, and that's what I loved about his show. Of course, a lot of people would say his show was about food. That's true. He was a star chef. He was an award-winning author. He's also a recovering heroin addict and had problems with cocaine in the 80s, which he talks about in his best-selling book. And in fact, what I found most fascinating about his show and why I loved it the most was it wasn't just about the food, although he was a foodie as well. It was about his traveling the world to explore the best food on the planet. But he didn't start by going to Michelin restaurants or five-star fancy places. He found food in every tiny little nook and cranny, some of the most disgusting looking buildings, going in and meeting these incredibly passionate people. And I think that's what impressed me the most. It's one of the things that I love about traveling. Not to say, look where I've been, but to meet people around the world. And I got to tell you, this sounds like a bit of a strange segue, but what he actually literally talked about is he was fighting a war against xenophobia. He talked about it in several interviews. And of course, xenophobia is the idea that we have an irrational dislike of people from other countries and other cultures. I mean, really, it is irrational. In fact, to be quite blunt, it's downright stupid. I have no idea why we're so scared of other people from other countries. And the only way we get over that, I think, in many ways, is by to go there and see what their lives are like. And as Anthony Bourdain said several times, and I never copied this expression from him, I actually have been saying it for years, we have more in common than we have as differences. And I really believe that. And that's what Anthony was the kind of person to explore. He also loved people, and I generally love people. He, of course, took his own life. It's been confirmed that he did hang himself. And that's unexplainable. It is confusing. It is, however, the root of why we keep bringing this subject up about mental health. I know it's an uncomfortable subject. I'm not an expert on it, but I've struggled with my own depressions. I've struggled with my own mental health issues, having no arms, but this isn't about me. I really want to compliment Anthony Bourdain on his life, what he chose to do, the people that he chose to meet. I'm not obviously quite impressed with the way he chose to end his life, but that's none of my business. This was something that Anthony chose. You know, we lost Kate Spade earlier this week. I say we, the planet, another victim of suicide, if that's the right word. It is a very complicated subject, and we need to talk about it. And I know you keep hearing that over and over again like a broken record, but the fact of the matter is this is an illness. It's just like any other illness, and we need to be able to talk about it, but yes, get treatment, go to specialists. Whatever it takes to try to get ourselves on a mentally healthy keel is one of the most important things, because it is one of the frailties of being human. So when I say there's a superhuman in all of us, that is, of course, an expression I use in my talks and in my belief system. But the bottom line is, whether we're superhuman or superhero or super anything, we are still human, and we need to remember that. We're frail. We have all kinds of reasons why things can affect us, depress us, even drive us to these kinds of terrible stories. But here's the bottom line. Take some thought today about counting your blessings. Take some thought today about what you have to live for. And more than anything, if you're struggling with your mental health, please, please, please go ask for help. Maybe Anthony Bourdain did, but who knows? We've lost a good one. Anthony, toes up to you, brother. Wish I could have met you, but hey, with respect to you on Human Factor Friday.